right, so even though we've got coaching changes on the horizon, we still got to talk about the transfer portal and some of the guys that Oklahoma is going to be targeting. You saw Oklahoma make some moves, even though they had a bowl game over the weekend. They made a couple moves, identified some targets, and I think they're guys that we need to talk about. We only got about 4 of them today, but I think they're targets that Oklahoma realistically can go out there and land, and targets that would want to come to Oklahoma. So before we dive into it, as always, join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. 65% of you guys that watch these videos are not subscribed, so we got a lot of room to grow. I want to get to 15,000 subscribers, so if you're new to the channel, pull up, wipe your feet, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. But we're going to talk about a little bit of transfer portal news and some targets that Oklahoma could be identifying. We got 4 of them today, so bear with me on all of them. Switched my Invisalign in, so if you guys hear a little bit of a lisp or slurring, yeah, it's the Invisalign here, so bear with me. All right, so I want to start by prefacing this. I know a lot of people have this idea that Oklahoma is broke and that Oklahoma is not going to pay for recruits. It's simply not true. Oklahoma will pay for recruits, but they're going to pay for recruits for guys that they believe, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that can be starters for them, guys that can make an immediate impact right away. They're not going to go out there and pay $1 million for a guy to go sit on the bench and potentially be something for you down the road. So it's always important for us as Oklahoma fans to understand that as we watch Oklahoma navigate the portal, right? Who are they going to pay for? Is this a guy that is worth paying for? Now, a new name that Oklahoma offered, a guy that you guys might have missed with all of the news and the action that's been going on over the week, William Whitlow Jr. He's a 6'2", 260-pound edge rusher he's coming from Memphis. He originally hails from Millbrook, Alabama. Didn't have, I would say, a Caden Woolard type season when he came from Miami of Ohio. But this is a guy that I believe could still play a pretty decent role at Oklahoma, play a good impact at Memphis. They played decent teams like a Florida State. I know they weren't good this year, but they are usually a decent team. You look at West Virginia, they played at Navy, and he was pretty successful this season. He graded out 67 in the tackling grade, 70.2 overall in the defensive grade. Although I don't believe he's their number 1 target right now at the edge position, we got to talk about that guy next. I do think that if they can't land the target that we're going to talk about next, Whitlow is an option for Oklahoma. And I don't believe he's an option that's going to break the bank either. Now, an option that Oklahoma's definitely going to be pursuing, and one that I think they would be willing to pay for, but this is a guy that is going to demand max dollars in the transfer portal. It's a Maurice Westmorland from UTEP. You heard that right. So he's going to have 1 year of eligibility left, but he's 6'2", 250 pounds, originally coming from Houston. But this is a guy that has been extremely successful in his time with the UTEP Miners. And it's not even that, he's just put up big numbers. He has done what he is supposed to against the competition that he plays. And when he has to play better competition, he does what he is supposed to, right? So in 22, he had 17 total tackles. In 23, he had 37 total tackles. In 2024, this past season, 45 total tackles, 27 solo, 1 pass breakup, 7.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Over his entire career, 99 total tackles, 56 solo tackles, 4 pass breakups, 15 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. You go look at the PFF grades against Nebraska, at Nebraska, a place that should be pretty hard to play, right? 76.8 tackling grade, 71.9 rush or pass rush defensive grade, 65.6 in the coverage rate grade. Then you go and you look at a team like at Tennessee, 74.7 tackling grade, 58.9 on the pass rush, and 61.5 in the coverage. This guy, I think, is a guy where his talent could translate to a major P4 school. Now, again, I told you, Oklahoma will pay for guys that they believe can be starters for them and make an impact right away. This is a guy that, if he comes in this room, he's going to challenge everybody, including RMT. Now, Is he going to beat a guy like RMT? Probably not. But he will challenge for a starting spot, and he would be a great filler when you're losing Ethan Downs, right? He'd be a great filler for that role. So this is a guy, Maurice Westmorland, that I think Oklahoma fans should potentially be paying attention to and watching to see if he's going to end up here at Oklahoma. Now, I got a wide receiver target that we need to talk about, but we're going to talk about him after we talk about Ethan O'Connor because I think it's due for an update here. Ethan O'Connor was the 6'1", 172-pound freshman transferring from Washington State, originally from California. Remember, this is a guy that for a while we have really felt well about him landing at Oklahoma. This was a guy that, you think landing Ben Arbuckle, landing a guy like Mateer could really help you in those sweepstakes. But Ethan O'Connor, being a freshman, putting up 32 total tackles this year, 23 solos. He had 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 8 pass breakups. That translates. This is a guy that he has the athleticism, he has the production. And you heard Miami, you heard Ohio State, you heard all of these schools trying to really get in on the Ethan O'Connor sweepstakes. And man, it really feels like Miami might be trying to make a push here. Now, when you talk to people around the program, people that are connected, you ask them kind of, hey, what do you think is going to happen with Ethan O'Connor? It's kind of you're getting some mixed reviews here. Now, talked to a couple people today, and it feels like he might be slipping away, and Miami might be the school to watch. But then there's a couple other people that still think Oklahoma's in the driver's seat here. So when you ask what's going on with Ethan O'Connor, his sister obviously is transferring here. Like this is one where if you're an Oklahoma fan, you feel good about it. I understand why you feel good about it. And you would imagine Oklahoma's probably still the leader in the clubhouse. But I would imagine Oklahoma's lead has dwindled a little bit for Ethan O'Connor. But this would be a huge addition to this cornerback room, especially after you lost a guy like Kenai Walker, who was 6'2". And although he didn't pan out, you lost size there. So if Gentry Williams comes back, you obviously have Eli Bowen coming back. Malik Hawkins, I feel like, can be another Eli Bowen where he could really boom this season when he hits the field. You've also got a Devon Jordan, a Jeremiah Newcomb in that room. Ethan O'Connor would be a phenomenal addition and a guy that I think could play right away. You also look at a guy like Kendall Daniels, who I guess plays a little bit more linebacker, but I guess maybe you could put him at corner. Don't know a whole lot on that kid, but it's a name that's been thrown out. So I think Oklahoma has options. You look at Takario Davis, he's still available out there, and he's a guy that I absolutely love from Arizona. Now, lastly, a target at wide receiver that Oklahoma fans really need to pay attention to. It's a blast from the past in that 23 class. It's Keon Brown. Now, if you guys remember, he ended up not being able to enroll at Oklahoma that season, went out to Garden City Community College, and then now he went to Iowa Western. And this is a dude last season played in 10 games, 521 total yards, 4 touchdowns. But let me tell you, he's a dynamic receiver, super athletic. He's got the speed. He's got the size coming in at 6'3", 200 pounds. And he would bring multiple years of eligibility into this room. We know this is a guy Oklahoma City likes. They have been in contact. It feels like from the conversations that I've had with sources, Keon Brown would love to come to Oklahoma. It's just a matter of can they make the thing happen, and it probably wouldn't happen until the spring portal anyways. So, maybe if Oklahoma could get a firm commitment for him to come in and they feel really good about it, that could be your 1 or 2 maybe wide receiver takes that you take, one of your 2 or just your last one. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But Keon Brown is a name that if you're an Oklahoma fan, you want to pay attention to because if he ends up here, it would really make that wide receiver room elite. So thanks for tuning in. Jump in the comments below. Join the discussion. If you guys have not already, make sure you guys hit that like and you guys hit that subscribe button.